Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel Gate Classes by the Tech Faculties. I am Chandrapal Singh and this is our fourth lecture on heat exchanger topic. In the previous class, we have started the performance analysis of heat exchanger and that is measured in terms of effectiveness. Therefore, we have derived the expression for effectiveness of parallel flow heat exchanger. Today we are going to derive the expression for effectiveness of counter flow heat exchanger. So let's start with the revision of previous class. So in the previous class, we come to know about the performance parameter of heat exchanger that is measured in terms of the effectiveness, and the effectiveness is equal to the Q actual upon Q max. So Q max is equal to the or Qmax can be obtained by the fluid when it has a minimum heat storage capacity so that it undergoes the maximum temperature difference. So the maximum temperature difference is available in the heat exchanger, that is equal to the temperature difference between the hot and the cold fluid at the inlet. So the delta T max in the heat exchanger is equal to the T hot inlet minus T cold inlet, and the question related to this means to how to find the value of Qmax is asked in GATE 2016, and to calculate the value of Q actual heat transfer or Q actual is equal to the heat losses by the hot fluid is equal to the heat gained by the cold fluid. So the heat losses by the hot fluid is equal to the mass flow rate of hot fluid multiply by specific heat of the hot fluid multiply by the temperature difference in the hot fluid, that is T hot inlet minus T hot outlet, and the heat gained by the cold fluid is equal to the mass flow rate of the cold fluid multiply by the specific heat of the cold fluid and product of temperature difference of cold fluid. So this is how we are going to find the value of actual heat transfer across the heat exchanger between the hot and the cold fluid. So this term can be used only when we know the outlet temperature of the hot and the cold fluid. In case we don't know the outlet temperature of the hot and the cold fluid, in that case we will use the NTU method to find the effectiveness. So NTU represents the number of transfer unit, which represents the size of the heat exchanger, and it is equal to the UA divided by C minimum. Here we have one more term that it is C, which is a heat storage capacity ratio, and that is equal to the C minimum by C max, and the expression that we have derived for the effectiveness of parallel flow heat exchanger is equal to the 1 minus e to the power minus NTU 1 plus C divided by 1 plus C. So that is an expression for parallel flow effectiveness of parallel flow heat exchanger, and it can be converted into for if we have C minimum is equal to the C max. In that case value of C will be equal to the 1, and we have that effectiveness of parallel flow heat exchanger will be 1 minus e to the power minus 2 NTU divided by 2. This term will be used when the specific heat storage capacity of the hot fluid is equal to the heat storage capacity of the cold fluid. So let's have a numerical problem based on the this concept, and this is used when we know the outlet temperature of the either the hot fluid or the cold fluid. So this question was asked in GATE 2014. The question number 1: It is saying that in a concentric counterflow heat exchanger, water flows through the inner tube at 25 degrees centigrade and leaves at 42 degrees centigrade. The engine oil enters at 100 degrees centigrade and flows in the annular flow passes. The exit temperature of engine oil is 50 degree centigrade. So here we know all the temperatures, inlet temperature and the outlet temperature of the both hot and the cold fluid. The mass flow rate of the water in the engine is given. So the mass flow rate of the water is equal to the 1.5 and mass flow rate of the oil is 1 kg per second. The specific heat of the water is equal to the 4178 joule per kg Kelvin, and specific heat of the oil is 2130 joule per kg Kelvin. Here we can find the product of mass flow rate and the specific heat, that will be equal to the heat storage capacity, and we have that the product of mass flow rate water multiplied by CPW is equal to the 1.5 multiplied by 4178 joule per Kelvin second, and mass flow rate of oil, product of mass flow rate of oil and specific heat of oil will be equal to the 1 into 2130 joule per Kelvin into second. So here in this question we can see that that will be equal to the C minimum and it will be equal to the C maximum. So we can find the effectiveness of the heat exchanger will be equal to the Q actual by Q max. And Q actual, for Q actual I will use the heat transfer through the oil, and as the Q max is equal to the C minimum and C minimum is related to the oil, so I will use the actual heat transfer for the oil to make the calculation easier. So here I will have mass flow rate of oil multiplied by Cp of oil multiplied by the temperature difference of the oil, and that is equal to the T hot inlet minus T hot outlet, that is equal to the 100 minus 50, and C minimum is equal to the, for the maximum heat transfer we have the formula that saying that is equal to the C minimum multiplied by maximum temperature difference. So C minimum is equal to the mass flow rate of oil multiplied by Cp of oil multiplied by the maximum temperature difference across the heat exchanger, that is equal to the T hot inlet minus T cold inlet. So the T hot is equal to the 100 degree centigrade and T cold inlet is equal to the 25 degree centigrade, and the difference will be 75, and we will have the 50 divided by 75 or 2 by 3, then the effectiveness of the heat exchanger will be 0.667. So let's start the analysis for the effectiveness of counterflow heat exchanger. Therefore, draw the diagram of representation of counterflow heat exchanger. So to analyze, let's consider the small elementary area in the heat exchanger, that is equal to the dA, and heat transfer across this area through the heat exchanger is delta Q is equal to the overall heat transfer coefficient U multiplied by surface area and the average temperature difference, that is equal to the Th minus Tc. This is our equation number first, and I am considering the direction x for the analysis, and in this direction we can find the value of heat transfer across the hot fluid and the cold fluid. So the value of heat transfer for the hot fluid in this direction, that will be equal to the heat storage capacity of the hot fluid, which is product of mass flow rate of the hot fluid multiplied and specific heat of the hot fluid at constant pressure. So it will be equal to the Ch and that multiplied by delta T H. So in the direction of analysis, we can see that the temperature of the hot fluid is decreasing from point 1 to 2. So this delta T is an exact differentiation, means T2 minus T1. So the T2 minus T1 will be negative here. So we can write here that is a negative term. So this is equation number 2. Now for heat transfer through the cold fluid, that it will be equal to the heat storage capacity of the cold fluid and the product of the temperature difference in the direction of analysis. So here in the direction of analysis from 1 to 2, we can see that the temperature of the cold fluid is decreasing. So it will be negative, the delta T C, and that is equation number 3. So from equation number 2 and 3, we will have that delta Th minus delta Tc will be equal to the minus delta Q, as this both term is equal to the delta Q. So the minus delta Q will be equal to the 1 by Ch minus 1 by Cc. So this is our equation number 4. So in equation number 4, we can put the value of delta Q from the equation number 1, and we will have delta T H minus delta T minus Tc, that will be equal to the U minus U dA delta Th minus delta Tc 1 by Ch minus 1 by Cc, and this equation can be written as delta Th minus delta Tc divided by Th minus Tc will be equal to the minus U dA in this equation, that is this equation represent the analysis of a small elementary area. So for the overall, if I have to integrate this equation from inlet to outlet, so we are integrating this equation from inlet to outlet, and we will have, so write it on another page, we will have ln Th minus Tc at outlet Th minus Tc at inlet is equal to the U minus U area 1 by Ch minus 1 by Cc. So let's find the temperature at the outlet. Temperature difference between the hot and the cold fluid at the outlet is, so it is T hot outlet minus T cold inlet. So T hot outlet minus T cold inlet, and temperature difference at the inlet is T hot inlet minus T cold outlet. T hot inlet minus at inlet, the temperature difference is T hot inlet minus T cold outlet, and it will be equal to the exponential minus UA 1 by CH minus 1 by Cc. So here we are required to find the value of outlet temperature of the hot fluid and the cold fluid, and that is can be obtained by using the formula of effectiveness. Effectiveness of the heat exchanger is equal to the heat transfer to the hot fluid, that is actual heat transfer, T hot inlet minus T hot outlet divided by Qmax will be equal to the C minimum multiplied by T hot inlet minus T cold inlet, and this will be equal to the Cc, heat storage capacity of the cold fluid, temperature difference between the cold fluid T hot, T cold outlet minus T cold inlet divided by C minimum and the temperature difference between the hot and the cold fluid at of the inlet. So here we can find the value of T hot outlet and the value of T cold outlet. So the value of T hot outlet is equal to the T hot inlet minus effectiveness C minimum by CH and T hot inlet minus T cold inlet. So this is our equation number 5, and this is our equation number 6. So from here we can find the value of T cold outlet, and the value of T cold outlet is equal to the T cold inlet plus effectiveness C minimum by Cc and T hot inlet minus T cold inlet, that is equation number 7. So we can put the value of equation number 6 and 7 in equation number 5. Then we will have the T hot inlet minus T cold inlet minus effectiveness C minimum by CH T hot inlet minus T cold inlet divided by T hot inlet minus T cold inlet minus effectiveness C minimum by Cc T hot inlet minus T cold inlet will be equal to the exponential minus UA 1 by CH minus 1 by Cc. So in this we can take this term as a common, and then we will have 1 minus effectiveness C minimum by CH divided by 1 minus effectiveness C minimum by Cc. It will be equal to the e to the power minus UA 1 by CH minus 1 by Cc. So this is our equation number 8. To make calculation easier, we use equation number 8, and we'll have two cases. As here we don't know that the heat storage capacity of the hot fluid is minimum or the heat storage capacity of the cold fluid is minimum. So therefore, I am considering the two cases. In case number one, we will have the C minimum which is related to the hot fluid, and in another case we will have C minimum is related to cold fluid. So let's write the equation number 8 on the next page. It will be equal to the 1 minus effectiveness C minimum by 1 minus effectiveness C minimum by CH divided by 1 minus effectiveness C minimum by Cc will be equal to the e to the power minus UA 1 by CH minus 1 by Cc. So in case number first, I am considering that case first that Cc is greater than Ch, means Ch is equal to the C minimum and Cc is equal to the C max, and the ratio is known as C. So let's find 1 minus effectiveness, and the value of Ch is C minimum. So we will have 1 minus effectiveness and divided by 1 minus effectiveness and C minimum by Cc is C max. So we will have 1 minus C, and here we will have e to the power minus UA 1 by C minimum minus 1 by C max, and 1 minus E 1 minus effectiveness C will be equal to the exponential 1 minus UA divided by C minimum will be equal to the 1 minus C minimum by C max is C. So this term is equal to the NTU, and 1 minus effectiveness 1 minus C effectiveness will be equal to the e to the power minus NTU 1 minus C. So from this, to find the value of effectiveness, we will have 1 minus effectiveness is equal to the e to the power minus NTU 1 minus C minus C e to the power minus NTU 1 minus C multiplied by effectiveness. So here we will have that effectiveness is equal to the 1 minus e to the power minus NTU 1 minus C divided by 1 minus C e to the power minus NTU 1 minus C. So this is obtained when the heat storage capacity of the hot fluid is minimum. So now if in the second case, case number 2, in which we have Ch is greater than Cc, then we will have 1 minus C effectiveness divided by 1 minus E and this will be equal to the exponential 1 minus UA 1 by C max minus 1 by C minimum. So if we compare this equation with this equation, then you can say it is a reciprocal of this. So if we reciprocate this, we will have 1 minus E 1 minus C effectiveness will be equal to the e to the power minus UA equal to the 1 by C minimum minus 1 by C max, and the value of effectiveness will be equal to the 1 minus e to the power minus NTU 1 minus C divided by 1 minus C e to the power minus NTU 1 minus C. So this is an expression for effectiveness of parallel flow, sorry, counter flow heat exchanger. So it is represented like effectiveness of the counter flow epsilon C. So let's have one special case in which the product of mass flow rate and the heat specific heat will be equal to the heat storage capacity, and it will be equal to the for the both fluid. Means if we have special cases when the CH is equal to the CC, in that case the effectiveness of the counterflow heat exchanger, in the counterflow heat exchanger the effectiveness of counterflow heat exchanger is equal to 1 minus e to the power minus NTU 1 minus C divided by 1 minus C e to the power minus NTU 1 minus C. So if we put C is equal to 1, C is equal to 1, then the effectiveness of counterflow heat exchanger will be 0 by 0, which is indeterminate. So to find this value of, in that case we have to apply the limit rule, in which we will apply D'Hospital rule, and we will have one differentiation of 1 will be equal to 0 minus e to the power minus NTU, and I am differentiating this term with respect to the C. 1 minus C multiplied by NTU, that will be divided by 1 minus C e to the power minus NTU 1 minus C multiplied by NTU plus e to the power minus NTU 1 minus C. So the value of C is equal to 1, then we will have minus NTU divided by minus NTU plus 1. So minus to minus cancel out, and we will have, in that case the effectiveness of the counterflow heat exchanger will be equal to the NTU divided by 1 plus NTU. So this is a special case where the effectiveness of the counterflow heat exchanger will be equal to the, or will depend only upon the value of NTU. So it will equal to the NTU divided by 1 plus NTU. So let's find the effectiveness for the phase change type of heat exchanger. And for the phase change type of heat exchanger, we have seen that the temperature of one of the fluid is not going to change. So in that case the value of C max, the fluid which is not undergoing any temperature change, that is having the specific heat, is equal to the infinite. So due to which the value of C become 0. So the value of C is 0, then we can put the value of C in the equation of in the expression of counterflow heat exchanger and the parallel flow heat exchanger. By this we will find the value of effectiveness for the, means expression for the effectiveness of the phase change type of heat exchanger. So first we put the value of C is equal to 0 in the in the effectiveness terms of the counterflow heat exchanger. Then we will have the EC will be equal to the 1 minus e to the power minus NTU, and if we will put the value of C is in C is equal to 0, in parallel flow heat exchanger we will have 1 minus e to the power minus NTU. So the effectiveness in both the cases is going to be same whether the flow is parallel flow or counter flow, and we have also said that the phase change type of heat exchanger is not depend upon the flow pattern. So the effectiveness will be equal to the 1 minus e to the power minus NTU. So let's have the variation of and variation in the effectiveness by changing the value of NTU and the ratio of heat storage capacity. As we know that effectiveness, as we know that, so let's have in next page. So we know that the effectiveness is a function of NTU and C, that is C minimum by C max. So let's have the variation of effectiveness. So this is effectiveness, and the maximum possible effectiveness is 1. And at that axis we will have NTU, and we know that the effectiveness, the the effectiveness is proportional to the NTU. As the value of NTU increases, the effectiveness increases, and as we know that the effectiveness is inversely proportional to the heat capacity ratio. So this is first and this is second. And second, we have that the effectiveness is inversely proportional to the heat ratio of heat storage capacity, which is C minimum by C max. If the value of NTU is 0, then the effectiveness will be 0. So the curve, as it is exponential curve, so it will start from the origin. So let's say, so for the different values we have this curve, different value of heat capacity ratio means C, 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 and we know that the as the value of C decreases, the effectiveness increases. So it will be related to the C is equal to 0. It may be related to 0.25. It will be related to 0.5 and 1. So this is how there is a variation in the effectiveness, which depends upon the two parameter, which is first is NTU and another one is heat storage capacity ratio. So let's have few numericals based on the concepts that we have studied till now. So the question number 2 for the today, the question number 2 is saying that saturated vapor is condensed to saturated liquid in the condenser. So condenser is a device which is related to the phase change type of heat exchanger, and the heat capacity ratio is C minimum by C max. The effectiveness of the condenser is, so the condenser is related to the phase change type of heat exchanger, and the value of C is equal to the 0 for this type of heat exchanger. And if you put the value of C and value of C is equal to 0 in the expression given in this option number A and B, then we will have option number D. So this represents the effectiveness of the parallel flow heat exchanger, This represents the effectiveness of counterflow heat exchanger, and this is related to the effectiveness of counterflow heat exchanger when Cc is equal to the Ch is equal to the C is where C is equal to the 1. So we have four expression here. One more expression is there which is related to the effectiveness of parallel flow heat exchanger will equal to the 1 minus e to the power minus 2 NTU divided by 2. So we have total 5 expression for find the value of effectiveness for the heat exchanger, and we have all these 5 terms here. Now the option number D is correct for the given question, as the effectiveness of the heat exchanger is 1 minus exponential minus NTU, and we said that the effectiveness is directly proportional to the NTU. So value of NTU increases, the effectiveness increases. So here this term is independent of the C, and it has the maximum effectiveness. So it is best, means phase change type of heat exchangers are best, having best effectiveness. So let's have another question. So question number 3. In a certain double pipe heat exchanger, a hot water flows at the rate of 50,000 kg per hour and gets cooled from 95 to 65. So the T hot inlet is given as equal to the 95 degrees centigrade, and T cold inlet is equal, sorry, T hot outlet is equal to the 65 degree centigrade. The same time, the 50,000 kg per hour of cooling water at T cold inlet is equal to the 30 degree centigrade. 30 degree enters the heat exchanger. The flow conditions are such that the overall heat transfer coefficient, the value of U is also given, that is equal to the 2270 watt per meter square Kelvin. So we are required to calculate the heat transfer area. So area is question mark, and the effectiveness, and we also find the effect required to find the effectiveness of the heat exchanger. Assuming the two streams are in parallel flow, and assume the both the fluid stream having the same specific heat of the fluid. So the it is a parallel heat exchanger. So, and the entering at 95, exit at 65, and cold fluid enters at 30 degree. So it is given that the product of mass flow rate of both the fluid is same, means m dot h cph multiplied by temperature difference delta T is equal to the m dot c cpc, and delta T is same for the hot and the cold fluid, as it is heat given by the hot fluid is equal to the heat gained by the cold fluid. So we will have this terms is going to be cancelled out, and the delta T between the hot fluid is 30 degree, and delta T hot outlet minus delta T C inlet will be equal to the delta T hot will be equal to the 60 degree. So the temperature difference at the inlet is equal to the 65, and at the outlet it is equal to the 5. So here first we can find the LMTD for the parallel flow heat exchanger. The value of LMTD is equal to the theta inlet minus theta outlet divided by Ln theta inlet by theta outlet. So LMTD, value of LMTD will be equal to the 65 minus 5, 60 divided by Ln 65 by 5. So the Ln 65 by 5 is equal to the 2.57 by 60. So we will have the theta mean temperature difference. Theta mean is equal to the 23.39 degree centigrade. So we can also find the value of heat transfer, that is equal to the UA theta mean. So we have U and we have theta mean, and we can also calculate the value of heat transfer through the heat exchanger. That will be equal to the mass flow rate of m dot h cph delta th will be equal to the u theta mean is equal to the area. So area can be found. So the area is equal to the mass flow rate of hot water is given that it is 50,000 kg per hour. So we have to convert this into the kg per second, and it will be equal to 50,000 divided by 3600. So we will have 13.8 multiplied by 4.2 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Then we will have multiply by temperature difference between the hot fluid and the cold hot fluid is 30. So it will be equal to the heat transfer del Q is equal to the 1750 kilowatt. So the area will be equal to the divided by 2270 and 23. Then we will have area. So it will be divided by 2270 divided by 23, and as this term is given in kilowatt, so we have to multiply this by the 10 to the power 3. The area will be equal to the 33.51 meter square. And now we are required to calculate the effectiveness of the heat exchanger, and this is, as this is a parallel flow heat exchanger, and we can find the value of effectiveness is equal to the although we can use NTU method to find the effectiveness, and we also can use the method that in which the effectiveness is equal to the Q actual upon Q max. So we have the value of Q actual, that is equal to the 751750 divided by Q minimum, and the value of minimum is same here. So it will be equal to the 50,000 divided by 3600 multiply by 4.2, and the maximum temperature difference is equal to the 65. So then we will have 50 1000 divided by 3600 multiply by 4.2 multiply by 65, that will be equal to the, this overall term is equal to the 3791.667. So we have the effectiveness of the heat exchanger is equal to the 0.46. So all the concepts that we have studied till now is used in this question to find the area of the effective area of the heat transfer, and we use that which is required to find the LMTD. So we find the mean temperature difference across the heat exchanger by using LMTD, and after LMTD we find the area by applying overall heat transfer across the heat exchanger, and we also apply the formula to find the effectiveness of the heat exchanger. So this question was asked in gate 2000 gate 1997, and this was having 5 marks of the question. That time the conventional questions were asked in the gate. So let's move to the next question. So this question was asked in gate 2009. The question number 4. The question 4, in parallel flow heat exchanger, as it is said that it is a parallel flow heat exchanger, and the expression is same for the effectiveness is 2 into 2 multiplied by effectiveness is equal to 1 minus exponential 1 minus 2 NTU. So this term is used when the C minimum is equal to the C max. So let's see what this question is saying, that in parallel flow heat exchanger operating under steady state, the heat capacity rates, the product of specific heat at the constant pressure and the mass flow rate of the hot and the cold fluids are equal. So it is given, and we know we have applied this formula. In that case, the heat storage capacity of the hot and the cold fluid is required to be same. The hot fluid flowing at 1 kg per second with the specific heat 4 kilojoule per kg Kelvin enters the heat exchanger at 102 degree centigrade, while the cold fluid has the inlet temperature of 15 degree centigrade. The overall heat transfer coefficient for the heat exchanger is 1 kilowatt per meter square Kelvin, and the corresponding heat transfer surface area is 5 meter square. Neglect the heat transfer between the heat exchanger and the ambient, and heat exchanger characterized by the following relation, that effectiveness 2 times of effectiveness is equal to 1 minus exponential minus 2 NTU. So exit temperature of the cold fluid is, so the exit temperature of the cold fluid can be obtained by applying first law of thermodynamics, which is saying that heat loss by the hot fluid is equal to the heat gain by the cold fluid. So heat loss by the hot fluid is equal to the mass flow rate of the hot fluid multiplied by specific heat of the hot fluid minus delta T of hot fluid is equal to the mass flow rate of the cold fluid multiplied by the specific heat of the cold fluid, temperature difference between the cold fluid. So this terms is going to be cancelled out, and we have that delta Th means T hot inlet minus T hot outlet is equal to the T cold outlet minus T cold inlet. So the temperature difference between the hot and the cold fluid is not given to us. So we have to use the formula of effectiveness to find the exit temperature. So let's find the effectiveness by using NTU method. NTU is equal to the UA by C minimum. So value of U is equal to the 1 kilowatt per meter square Kelvin, and area is 5 meter square. So here we have to put all the value in SI units, and the specific heat of the fluid is given as 4 and mass flow rate is 1. Then we will have 5 by 4 is as a NTU value. So let's find the value of effectiveness. The effectiveness of the heat exchanger will be 5 by 4 multiplied by 2 and 1 minus answer by 2. So we will have the effectiveness of the heat exchanger is equal to the 0.4589. So we have calculated the effectiveness, and after the value of finding the effectiveness, so here this formula is not going to be helpful for us. So let's apply the effectiveness formula, and the effectiveness is equal to the Q actual upon Q max. So what is required to find the exit temperature of the cold fluid? So we will use that mass flow rate of cold fluid multiplied by specific heat of the cold fluid multiplied by delta T of the cold fluid divided by Q max. So the Q max will be equal to the delta T max. So delta T max is available to us that as we know that the inlet temperature of the hot fluid is given and inlet temperature of the cold fluid is given. Now effectiveness is equal to the 0.4589 is equal to the, this term is going to be cancelled out, the delta T C is equal to T cold outlet minus T cold inlet divided by T hot inlet minus T cold inlet. Then we will have the product of effectiveness and the maximum temperature difference is going to be equal to the T cold outlet minus T cold inlet is equal to the 39.92. So the T cold outlet is equal to 39.92 plus T cold outlet, that is 15 degrees centigrade, and we will have it is equal to 55. The option B is correct. So the T cold outlet will be equal to the 55. So this was asked in GATE 2009. So let's have next question. That was in GATE 2012. The question number 5. So water specific heat is given to us, that it is equal to 4.18 kilojoule per kg Kelvin, enters at 80 degrees centigrade in a counterflow heat exchanger. So first of all, it is a counterflow heat exchanger with the mass flow rate of 0.5 kg per second. Air, specific heat of the air is given, it is equal to 1 kilojoule per kg Kelvin, enters at 30 degrees centigrade with the mass flow rate of 2.09. The effectiveness of the heat exchanger is 0.8, and we are required to find the value of LMTD. So to find the LMTD, all the temperatures are required to be known. So the inlet temperature of hot water is 80 degrees centigrade, and inlet water of cold fluid is given that it is equal to the 30 degrees centigrade. So let's find the value of exit temperature of the hot and the cold fluid. So effectiveness is given. Effectiveness, we know that effectiveness is equal to the Q actual upon Q max. To find the value of Q max, first we need to identify the C minimum, value of C minimum. So the C minimum is a related to, let's find the value of C minimum. That Cph multiplied by mass flow rate of hot fluid will be equal to the Cph is 4.18 multiplied by 0.5, that will be equal to the 2.09. Now Cp of cold fluid multiplied by Cpc, mass flow rate of cold fluid is given is equal to the 2.09, and the specific heat of the air is given is 1 kilojoule. It will be equal to 1.2.09. So here we can see that kilojoule per Kelvin second, kilojoule per Kelvin second. So the value of both the specific heat storage capacity is same, so we can use any of this as a C minimum. So the actual, let's find the temperature for the exit of the hot fluid. mph mh multiplied by cph and delta th divided by mass flow rate of hot fluid delta t max. So this terms is going to be cancelled out, and then we will have the temperature difference between the hot fluid, that is equal to the AT minus del AT minus T hot outlet divided by delta T max is given to us, and delta T max will be equal to the 50 degree, and effectiveness is also given, it is equal to the 0.8. Then we will have 0.8 into 50 is equal to the 40. So T hot outlet will be equal to the 40. So this is equal to the 40 degree centigrade. So here we can find the value of LMTD, as we know that if the effectiveness of the if the product of mass flow rate and the heat capacity of the fluid is equal, then the counterflow heat exchangers LMTD will be at the difference between the hot and the cold fluid, that is theta mean is equal to the theta inlet is equal to the theta outlet. So if we find that this the outlet temperature of hot fluid, then we can find that theta at outlet will be equal to the 10 degree centigrade. So LMTD for this given question will be equal to the 10. So theta mean is equal to 10 degree centigrade. So we have solved the most of the numerical problems of related or asked in the GATE exam based on the concepts that we have studied. So here we have completed the course related to the GATE in for the heat transfer subject. So and I hope you will cover complete syllabus, and will go through this heat transfer course taught by us, and as we have completed the course today, so let's hope you all do well in the GATE exam, and from my side, bye.